Hello and welcome to another edition of Patch Notes. And this is an interview at Collector Cave in the Bronx here with the owner, Steve.
Steve Bonanno.
Right. Nice to meet you.
How's everything going today?
It's good. It's good. Everything's
Good.
great. So, first question for me would be kind of like, how'd you get into comics?
How did I get? My dad used to take me when I was a kid to the comic store, and I would just buy comics then. Also, as a kid, he'd show me. I'd watch the old Spider-Man show from the '70s, the live-action show. This was before the animated series was on. The Adam West Batman stuff, the Luke Ferrigno Hulk. So I always just loved comic books. He would always bring me home Ninja Turtles toys. So from a young child, I was always into this stuff.
So, you own the store with your brother?
Yes, my brother and then one of our best friends.
So, it's not like what kind of clientele do you guys get, but just like do you find like a variety people that are into different things? You don't get like the hardcore collectors, like the guy from The Simpsons, like the or anything like
There's all
that.
different types of collectors. There are people who love to read the comics and will read everything, and then you get the people who just buy stuff to resell it. You get kids. We sell so many other things besides comics that we get so many different types of clients in here. Gamers with the retro games.
So what else do you sell?
So retro games, we sell toys, we sell old vintage toys from 70s, 80s, 90s, plushes, shirts, anything that I think I can sell that has to do with this genre, we wind up buying and we'll sell.
Other than that, well, I was telling you before the interview how I went to a comic store when I was little, or at least when I was in middle school, I mean, and we used to play like Magic the Gathering and stuff.
Right.
And like card games, and we would kind of use that as like a place for like camaraderie. Do you kind of notice that here?
Yeah, well, now we just moved into this bigger location. When we were in the other one, we didn't have the space that we have now to do that. But now that we have bigger space, we're going to start getting, because people buy the cards here, but we didn't have anywhere for them to play. So hopefully now we can incorporate that into the business and get the people who want to do that in here, give them somewhere to play the cards, because there's nowhere, like you're saying, there's nowhere for you to go and do it. When a shop closes, where do you go?
It's hard.
Yeah.
When it's like the only gig in town,
right?
And you're like, I have to go all the way to like.
Yeah, I don't want to travel. Exactly.
Yeah.
So now hopefully we can get that in here. Same with video game tournaments. People have been asking about that a lot too. So now we have the space to do that.
I mean, I already asked you about your like comic book origin story, but like, what made you and your brother want to start a store?
Well, we were doing this online for a long time, and then I had lost my job with FYE. My store had closed. We were on the other side of the Bronx, so I didn't feel like going back to do another store, to get another job like that as a manager of one of these corporate stores. So we actually saw that the store 2 doors over was for rent, and we actually were just looking into a storage unit because we had too much stuff. So we were like, you know what, let's see how much the store's rent is opposed to the storage unit. So now we can actually have a business and sell things. We found out it was cheap enough where we could get in, and that's how it all started for that.
I mean, you already had like a buyer base, a consumer base, because, or did you?
Somewhat, not really. We didn't really sell comics before that. Like, comics were not something we sold at all. We would buy comics, and I was still a reader of comics. But selling comics online at this time, before having a wholesale account, was very hard. So it was more vintage. It was all vintage stuff, basically. Like vintage toys, vintage plushes, dolls, anything like vintage. We would actually sell like beer signs, light up beer neon signs, anything that I could make money on.
So it's so more like a tchotchke kind of place.
Well, we would look up things on Craigslist, and then I'd find people who are selling things, and then while you're looking for toys and stuff, other things would pop up and be like, oh, look, this person's selling that for really cheap, but we could probably make money on that. Let's just buy that.
Do you have a fair amount of regulars that
Oh
come in?
yeah, definitely. Like all these boxes back here, those are all of our regular pull list customers that come.
So do people put stuff on hold?
Yeah. I mean, some stuff. I don't know if you'd call this a hold. This is so like, if I don't, if it sells out on the wall,
for
you
people that don't know what a pull list is.
Yeah, right. If you don't know what a pull list is, it's so you don't miss out on the books that you want to get every week, because sometimes this stuff sells out, or someone will come in and buy 10 copies, and then there's none left for the other people who walk in. So it's best to have a pull list, and you get a discount too.
Do you feel like this would work in it works better in like a smaller area where you don't have like a Barnes and Noble where you can just go get like 5 issues in a book?
Well, I mean, we had Barnes and Noble in Bay Plaza, and I don't want to say that like we didn't have as good as business. The graphic novels is a bit there's different type of buyers because people are always like me. I always have to have the issue because one, if I want to resell it down the line, I don't say I resell everything, but I have a better chance of getting rid of the individual issue because that'll go up in value rather than the graphic novel.
Yeah, because I honestly that's how I got into comic buying. Is because the comic store closed down in my town, so
Right.
and there was a Barnes and Noble 5 minutes away, and I would buy like the graphic novels, like the 5 issue.
Yeah, that's definitely an easy read
packs.
for the graphic novel. And usually I might buy the graphic novel even though I own the issues because I want to keep them, intact, and I'll just read the book itself. But there's different there's people who just want to read the story, and then there's people who want to collect it for the value, and then there's both. I'm probably like the guy who's both. I like the story, but I also like the value of it.
Do you still sell stuff online?
Yeah, we do a lot of business online. Say that's probably
Yeah.
like a third of our business comes from online, either eBay or our website, which our website is doing actually a lot better than when we started.
So what is
That
your
takes
website?
nycollectorcave.com is our website. Yeah, and that takes a lot of time getting that set up and getting people to come and shop on your actual website rather than eBay or Amazon or something, which we don't do Amazon. They take too much from your sale.
Oh,
Yeah, 20% of your sale. It's too much. eBay is only like 9%.
that's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. Amazon, there's millions, billions of people looking at the site, but
Yeah.
it's still not worth giving the 20%.
I mean, you feel like there's more of an even split between people that want to get the people that come in the store versus people that buy online.
Well, more people come in the store. Like, if we didn't have the store, we wouldn't be doing as well because, you're only getting the online people. It's best that, I think it's best to have both.
I guess you're only getting like with online, you're only really getting the people that like kind of know you.
Yeah, and then there's different, like, we have dedicated online comic people who always buy from us online because I guess we're their shop that they go to. But then when it comes into like toys and pops, there's no loyalty for that. It's whoever puts it up first, those people are going and ordering it from them.
I'm sure it's a cutthroat business.
Yeah, for the toys and the pops, it's whoever gets it first. I need to have it. I'm getting it right from them. It doesn't matter.
So you talked about how you guys sell like a fair amount of comics. So you sell issues and graphic novels.
Yeah, we have both.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you sell like retro games and
Yeah.
pop figures.
We sell everything. Yeah, the pop figures are big. Pop figures, the new ones come in every day. And that's a big. I guess it's like Beanie Babies were in the 90s. Only they're sticking around,
Yeah.
and hopefully they stay around.
What's the age range, honestly, of people that
Uh,
come in here?
We little kids all the way up to our oldest customers, probably in the 60s. I don't know if we have any like 70s or 80s. Yeah, some guys who might be like 70 who come in here. Same with women. You get older women in here too. It's not just men, but average people, middle-aged people.
Right.
20. Actually, no, I wouldn't say middle-aged. Probably like 20s, 30s are the main clientele. But everybody loves this stuff. Because, like I said, we do everything. So even if you're not into one thing, we might have something else for you. We do a lot of the older guys will come in or women and buy the Hanna-Barbera stuff we have in the window, like the Flintstone statues,
Right.
and stuff like that, or the Disney stuff.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Sure.
we try to have something for everyone. We had kids stuff for like babies, but I don't have space for that anymore.
You moved from Two Doors Down how long ago?
Like a month and a half at the most. Well, actually, no. We got in here at the beginning of this month, so not even a month yet.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought it was actually longer. But yeah, this will be a month and a couple days. I think we were in here on the 1st.
I'm sure a lot of people were excited
Oh, yeah.
when
yeah.
they saw that you guys are moving up in the world.
Yeah, so much more excited. The other place, I mean, it was great when we started out, but now it got cramped and you get too many people in there.
I mean, this place is full of stuff.
Yeah. By Christmas time, it'll have even more stuff.
It's
Probably
pretty
won't be able to move.
Like, it's pretty dense as is. I'm surprised you guys actually fit all of the, like, most of this in a smaller space.
Well, that was an issue with some stuff. Like,
Right.
If it wasn't selling, I'd have to take it into our storage to bring in the new stuff. Then I guess you bring it back later when you have some space. So now we have the space. We could get everything out.
So the storage, is that like you have not like a I don't know what the word I'm thinking of is. Do you just have like a container, or is
No,
it
well, it's
or is
like
it like a room
yeah, it's a storage unit, but it's a big room. Well, we have two of them, and then we have a van too, so we store things in the van.
for like backlog stuff? Or
Yeah, well, in
yeah.
the van, I just store stuff that we take to the conventions, like our grid wall, because that's like 1,000 pounds of grid wall. That's pretty hard to store, so we just keep that in the van.
So what conventions do you guys go to?
We're about to go to on what is it? The second week of August? I think it's the 8th. Let me look up the date here. Yeah, no, it's the 10th, 11th, and 12th. We'll be in Boston for Boston Comic Con, and then the very next weekend is actually this one here in Terrificon in Mohegan Sun, Connecticut. It's the August 17th to 19th.
Cool.
So this is actually the second year we'll be doing this. It's pretty stressful because it's back to.
Are you going to New York Comic Con?
Yeah, this is our first year at New York Comic Con actually. We're really excited about that because we've been on the waiting list since we've opened the store. So this is like our third or fourth year waiting to get in. And that's we're from New York, so we've been wanting to do that show.
Yeah, we tried to get press passes to go to New York Comic Con.
Yeah, it's
It is
hard, man.
It is very hard.
It's hard. We actually have someone, my brother knows someone who works for Reed Pop, which I think helped a lot. So otherwise, the wait list is super long. Like I hear San Diego's wait list is like 10 years to get in if you want to be a vendor at San Diego.
I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't think we'd do that one. That's a little far.
Other than like on the Northeast, do you go to any other conventions?
Oh yeah, we went down to Orlando for MegaCon, but honestly, we won't be going back down. We drove all the way down, and it wasn't worth the drive. You make enough money. Yeah. Plus, I gotta pay people. The van, like I drove down with my girlfriend and one of the other guys who was working with us. That only took a day, but to get the van down there, it was 2 days, then 2 days back. Our best show until what hopefully is New York Comic Con, but our other best show is Rhode Island Comic Con, which we do. This will be like our third or fourth year there. That's a great show. If you guys have never been and you like this stuff, it's definitely worth checking out. That's in November.
So what's your most popular issue right now that's been selling? Or at least series, let's say.
Spider-Man has been big. There was the whole Red Goblin series going on. Batman was big up until the wedding. I don't know if you know about what happened in the wedding. A lot of people were upset about that.
Not necessarily familiar.
Well, him and Catwoman were supposed to get married.
Right. I knew about that.
Yeah, but then what happened in that issue turned a lot of people off. And especially what DC did. They actually spoiled what happened 2 days before in like the Daily News or something, instead of letting people come in whatever newspaper. It was in the newspaper, and they spoiled what happened, and that actually, I'd say, hurt the sales a little bit. So comic shops were not happy about that. They should have just let the people read it for themselves.
I can imagine that. And other than that, it seems like you have like such a diverse like clientele of people getting the comics that.
Yeah, it's not just Marvel and DC.
It's not just people getting like Spider-Man and Batman.
No, one of our best-selling books is The Walking Dead. Yeah, The Walking Dead. That's one of my favorite books too. But other than we sell a lot of other independents. What's big right now? Oblivion Song is a big independent book. That's another Robert Kirkman story.
Dark Horse stuff.
Dark Horse. What's big from Dark Horse right now?
Are they still doing Hellboy?
Yeah, but he comes out like so often. Not so often. Like. It's not even bi-monthly. I don't even remember. And I buy Hellboy, and I'm trying to remember when the last Hellboy came out. But Dark Horse, they do like the Aliens and the Predators book.
Do they do Spawn?
No, Spawn is Image, and Spawn is actually just picking back up probably now that the movie is going to be coming out. They got Jamie Foxx playing Spawn. Plus, the artist that they switched, McFarlane, doesn't do the cover is a big deal with comics. Whoever's doing the cover art. McFarlane is not doing it anymore. They got Francisco Mattina. I think he's this Italian guy, and he's like the #1 artist right now. So that helps the book sell. Once you get a big artist on your cover.
I'm sure you guys get like a pretty healthy amount of variance. With each issue.
We do. It depends on the issue. Marvel goes crazy with that. And then we've done our own variants. We did one for Venom 1 with that guy Messina I was talking about.
Variants, Marvel and variants, they've done there was like the whole thing with Captain America.
There wasn't that. I mean, there was a bunch with Captain America.
No, it was Magneto. It was like Magneto as like a Nazi or something.
Oh, no. When Cap was a Nazi? Yeah. Well, that was just a storyline. But if you're talking about covers, when Iron Man came out, Tony Stark Iron Man 1, there was 25 different covers of just different Iron Man suits with the same background. So that's kind of a little much. But then you got to get them all because somebody who
Because collector.
you don't know who wants what suit. And there was actually an article in Bleeding Cool about comic shops complaining about that. Marvel is like just trying to get over on us, making us buy all this stuff. Because again, it does. Well, it's not Marvel. I guess it's Diamond also. It doesn't matter to them if we sell it. Once I buy it from them, that's where the sales come from, not from what you guys buy here on the wall. It's
Right.
about how many us the retailers buy. That's what counts for the numbers. And then when we buy our own variant and have to get 3,000 copies, like when you do your own variant, that drives the sales up too. So on certain books, they'll say the numbers are ridiculously high in sales, but you never sell those 3,000 copies.
Because people just want the own specific.
Well, not
variant.
that. I mean, you make money on it when you do these variants, but you don't sell all 3,000 copies, so it's not like they were actually sold. Yes, I bought them, but they're still sitting in my store, or in storage, because you'll take years to sell those. But for them, on their end, it looks like the sales are super high.
So summers are pretty slow around here.
Yeah, I mean, Sundays and Mondays are our slowest days. That's why we're open 11 to 6. The Sunday, it'll depend, and when school comes back in, it'll be a lot busier because actually there's a school right here on this block. And
So a lot of kids come after school
Yeah,
to buy stuff.
it's more. Yeah, they come in. They like to look at things. They only have X amount of money.
That's fair.
But it's just more people are around in the neighborhood when school is around.
Or people.
Some of the
I'm
kids will
sure-
come in and hang out. Though,
On the
it's
weekends, you
whatever.
have like a lot of day trippers.
Yeah, we get that. And there's the bar down the block too. So
They're
you
like,
get-
oh, cool, a comic store.
Yeah, you get some of those people. They stumble in drunk. Oh, look at this! I remember when I was a kid. But they're usually good. They don't touch or break anything. So as long as you're good, you can stay in here. Same with the kids. As long as they're not stealing anything, they don't have to buy. They can hang out.
Do you have anything like especially rare as far as like older
Right
comics?
now, for comics, the rarest comic I have, I'd have to go and look. We don't get too many of the older comics in. The last person who came in, they had the first appearance of Doctor Strange. This was like last year.
Mm-hmm.
And they just wanted way too much. That's something. Sometimes people want way too much for the item. Like
Well,
some
yeah,
lady
actually
called us.
talk about that. Talk about like people trading stuff in.
Yeah, well, some lady wanted. She called us. She has Amazing Fantasy number 15, which is the first appearance of Spider-Man. And
Ooh.
from what we saw, what it looked like, I'd say it was probably like a 1.0, which I could sell for probably like 10, maybe 11,000 at the most.
There's a scale, right?
Yeah, there's a grading scale.
yeah.
It goes all the way from 0 to 10. Nothing
Yeah.
was ever really a 10. 9.8 is probably the highest it goes. But anyway, she wanted like $9,000 for the book. So in that situation, she wasn't understanding. I can't pay you $9,000 to only make 1,000. The most I would really want to pay is 7, maybe 7.5. I got to make at least 2,500 on that book. But then again, she knows that she can easily make the 10,000 herself. So that's when some of the buying comes into play. That's what's hard with the video games now. People are catching on to how much they can sell the games for, and some of these games are very easy to sell by yourself.
Yeah.
So like, why do you need to sell it to me?
Do you ever deal with counterfeiters at all?
Yeah, some people come in and they try to sell you bootleg stuff. Like that would happen before we knew the games, like the Pokemon games. A lot of people have bootleg Pokemon games.
I listened to a podcast of one of the guys runs a game store in like San Diego, and he has stories all the time of like guys bringing in like Super Nintendo games with like really weird looking labels.
Yeah, it's hard. That's
Like,
why
just
I let my
open them up.
brother or one of the other guy or our other partner will look at the games. Or even if not, we have a buddy who used to work with us. Who he's super into retro games. He takes the stuff apart, makes his own thing. So if I feel like I don't understand or know what it is, I'll just shoot him a picture of it, and he'll tell me right away. And then if you're trading me in a game that's very expensive, I'm going to put it on and make sure that you didn't open it up and switch, because you can do that. You
Yeah.
can switch out the inside, and you might just have the cart. So like, yeah, if you're bringing me in a game that's like $500, that's going to go on the TV, and we're going to make sure that works.
A game like an
before-
Earthbound or
Yeah,
Mega
we've
Man
never had
X3.
that, but we've had some expensive games. We had sealed copy of Silent Hill, 2 copies of that. We wound up selling one for $500, and I think one was like had a crack in the case, so it was only like $350. But still, $500 for a sealed game that
Yeah.
you're never gonna play.
because it's sealed.
Yeah. Well, the lady who sold it to us, she knew what it was, and she bought them. But she had 3 copies, and she bought them specifically to sell down the line. So we gave her good money for them. She wound up getting like a down payment on her apartment. So she was happy with it.
I feel that. Yeah. So, I mean, that's about it for me. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? You want to plug the store, the Collector Cave?
Just come by the store, 3021 Middletown Road, Collector Cave. We're in the Bronx, New York. Or check us out online, nycollectorcave.com. We're open 7 days a week, and we got everything that you guys need.